Chapter 18. Dear to the deprived and near to the needy. Difficulties are created to increase the earning and to sift the sincere devotee from the rest. Baba. Adversity brings God closer. In Sri Mahabharat, the Pandavas completed their exile in the forest and safely returned home. Kunti Devi, their mother, was overjoyed. In gratitude, she bowed and offered salutation to Lord Sri Krishna. He said, "My dear aunt, is there anything more you want? I will grant it." She answered humbly, "O Lord Krishna, it was only because my sons were undergoing unbearable hardships in the forest and living on roots and tubers, you were constantly with them and guarding them. Similarly, I can earn your support and protection, your sweet and intimate love, and your proximity only when I have been in difficulties. So, I pray to you to grant me only hardship all the time." A similar incident connected to Sri Sathya Sai's life is worth recalling. Swami decided that in one particular year, summer classes would be held in Ooty and took all the students there. When the classes ended and just before setting out for Bangalore, he told them, "As you have come all the way to Ooty, go for sightseeing, look around and enjoy all the beauty in God's creation." The students insisted that Swami should accompany them. Otherwise, they said they too would not go. Their idea was to get themselves photographed along with Swami in the scenic surroundings. Swami agreed and arranged bus transport to go to Doddapetta, a fine spot situated 8,000 feet above sea level. He told the boys to go ahead and arrange to take photographs and that he would join them there soon. Sometime after they left, Swami left Nandanavanam for Doddapetta by car. After his departure, two young men came to Nandanavanam to see him. On learning that Swami was on his way to Doddapetta, they too left for Doddapetta on motorcycle. In their anxiety to reach and in fact overtook Swami's car, they drove at high speed. Persons traveling with Swami in his car wondered, "Who are these boys? They are driving too fast. They must be rowdies." Baba corrected them. "No, no, you should not rush to conclusions without knowing the facts. They are eager to have my darshan." At a turn on the road, the young men on the motorcycle came too close to Swami's car at a high speed. They lost control and fell down. Immediately, Swami had his car stop. He went to them and wiped the dust and dirt off their bodies and gently reprimanded them. "My dear boys, are you hurt? Why are you driving at high speed? You should not do such rash things. If you wanted to see Swami, you could have come to Nandanavanam." The boys replied, "Swami, we very much wanted to see you. Now that we met with this mishap, we had got not only your darshan but also your sparshan, touch, and sambhashan too, conversation. If we had not fallen off like this, you would not have come so close to us. You would not have patted us on our head so affectionately, and you would not have talked to us with such sweet intimacy. So, Swami, even if you give us any amount of hardship and adversity, grant us also your darshan, sparshan, and sambhashan. In order to receive the bliss of this kind, we will be prepared to undergo any amount of suffering." After narrating this touching tale of love and compassion, Bhagavan Baba said, "God does not bestow as much closeness and love when you are comfortable and enjoying life as when you are in trouble and suffering the pangs of adversity. In God's view of things, both suffering and happiness are equal. Those who love God with all their heart and soul will have no desires. There are any number of people who are ruined for lack of sincere faith, but there is not a single believer abandoned by God. None, none whatsoever. I too fear her." Once morning, women devotees were entering the audience hall in Prashanti Nilayam to have darshan of Swami. They were observing due silence and were also walking in orderly lines. But a lady volunteer at the entrance was curt and rude in her manners and was using somewhat impolite words while trying to hustle them inside. Many women felt bad about her behavior. One of them was very much upset. While she came to Prashanti Nilayam to attain mental tranquility, she thought this insensate volunteer was causing more unrest in her mind. She decided to inform Swami accordingly. To her good fortune, Bhagavan Baba gave an interview to her along with some women devotees. She could have utilized that sublime opportunity to raise her personal issues with Swami. Instead, she chose to ventilate her grievance at the inappropriate contact of the volunteer at the entrance. As soon as she set foot in the interview room, she burst out. Swami, did you notice that lady volunteer on the women's side who is talking too much and using harsh words? She is disturbing our peace of mind even in this holy place. Why did you have that volunteer posted on duty at the entrance, Swami? As he heard this tirade, Swami, who was seated on his throne, bent slightly forward and said to her, Bangaru, I will let you know a secret. I too fear her. The devotee was surprised but delighted and went into peals of laughter on hearing Baba's well kept secret. The whole room was filled with laughter. Here is a meaningful spiritual lesson given by Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai to his devotees. He did not dismiss that volunteer in anger for her rough conduct. At the same time, with a simple soothing word, he swept away the grievance of this genuinely hurt devotee and pacified her with his humor and love. Baba thus exhorts all his devotees, if you too face any problem or difficulty in life and get upset, recall my sweet words and jovial conversation and delight in them. Thereby you will be able to forget your grief or hurt more easily. Often did that devotee receive rough treatment again at the hands of the same volunteer at the entrance of the audience hall, but she could bear it with equanimity by simply recalling the sweet, disarming, and frolicsome words of Swami and happily laughing within herself. Whenever you are troubled by life's problem, recollect Swami's divine discourse, exhortations, parables, and tales. Your troubles will be swept away like dark clouds driven away by wind. This incarnation in human form of the eternal universal supreme reality, the personification of truth, awareness, and bliss, the embodiment of unbounded compassion, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai is showering divine bliss, Ananda, on humanity and enabling mankind to easily cross difficult to cross ocean of birth and death. Nine types of bhakti. According to Sri Mahabhagavata, Shravan, hearing, Kirtan, singing praises, Smaran, remembering, Padasevan, touching feet, Vandana, salutation, Archana, worshipping, Dasya, serving, Sakya, friendship, and Atmanivedan, surrender, are the nine types of devotion to God. These are like steps that lead by stages to reach and merge with God. Let us consider an illustration that holds a mirror as it were to the experience of hundreds of thousands of devotees visiting Prashanti Nilayam. First of all, we hear quite a lot about Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai. We hear that Sri Sathya Sai stays in the holy place of Puttaparthi in the Anantapur district, that he gives public audience morning and evening every day in the audience hall in Prashanti Nilayam, that he is clothed in a long robe of red color, that he wears a distinctive crown of black hair, and that he presents a magnetic divine vision to the onlooker. We also hear that the very sight of Bhagavan gives indescribable happiness and that he can relieve every suffering by a mere touch or word. We hear that he can materialize any and everything by a mere movement of his divine hand and that he can cure any disease by his mere will. We hear hundreds of such experiences from all sides. This is the first stage, Shravan, hearing. Back home, the whole household will gather together and exchange notes and experiences. Have you heard this? Have you also heard about this miracle, this wonder? Sri Sathya Sai Baba is God incarnate. They say he is an ocean of mercy. He is the embodiment of compassion and love. We recount instances of every such attribute, and in the process we sing his praises. This is the second stage, Kirtan. We are led to a strong desire to visit Puttaparthi someday and have Swami's darshan. The mind fills with Swami. We remember Swami's divine leelas and mahimas, signs of divinity. and we are suffused with wonderment and anticipation as well as intense pleasure. We dream of Swami while asleep, we think of Swami when awake. This is the third stage, Smaran.
सत्यदेवाय विद्महे
Then, on one blessed day, we reach Puttaparthi. We
सत्यदेवाय
go into the
धीमहि
audience hall for darshan.
तन्नः
Swami moves slowly towards us, radiating flame, colored
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
illumination, and stops right in front of us. We forget ourselves in
ॐ
immense happiness. We salute him in a
साईश्वराय
gesture of
विद्महे
obeisance at his lotus feet and touch our eyes with our hands,
सत्यदेवाय
so blessed.
धीमहि
This then is the fourth
तन्नः
stage, Sevan, touching feet.
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
Swami graciously invites us into the interview room. Beaming with pleasure, we troop into the room and sit at his lotus feet.
साईश्वराय
He sits on
विद्महे
his throne very close to us. We look at him in
सत्यदेवाय
unbelievingly
धीमहि
wonder and rejoice at our good
तन्नः
fortune. This is the fifth stage,
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
Vandana, salutation. We place flowers at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai. Bhagavan tells us,
साईश्वराय
Bangaru,
विद्महे
I do not want these flowers that fade in no time. What I
सत्यदेवाय
want is the other
धीमहि
flower, your heart. When
तन्नः
we hear Swami's mellifluous voice, a
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
thousand musical instruments sing in our inner consciousness. This is the
ॐ
sixth stage, Archana, worship.
साईश्वराय
Then
विद्महे
Bhagavan casts his cool, refreshing looks at us and
सत्यदेवाय
asks,
धीमहि
smiling enchantingly,
तन्नः
Bangaru, what do you want? We reply, Swami, if
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
you are kind enough to allow it, we will stay here serving you. He
ॐ
inquires, what will you do here? We say,
साईश्वराय
we will do
विद्महे
whatever you order, Swami. This is the seventh stage,
सत्यदेवाय
Dasya,
धीमहि
serving. After some
तन्नः
conversation, we become more self assured
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
and bolder. We develop some closeness, friendship with Swami.
ॐ
We tell him about our problems. Swami
साईश्वराय
assures us,
विद्महे
Bangaru, why fear when I am here? I am in your home.
सत्यदेवाय
I am always
धीमहि
with you. I am ever by your
तन्नः
side. You will find me within sight whenever you need
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
me. I will protect you at all times. This close
ॐ
companionship gives us a lot of self confidence and courage.
साईश्वराय
This is
विद्महे
the eighth stage, Sakya, friendship.
सत्यदेवाय धीमहि
After some days, Bhagavan again
तन्नः
asks us, what do you want? We have reached where
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
we are able to reply, Swami, I need nothing. I am
ॐ
completely yours. Use me as your instrument. I am
साईश्वराय
merely
विद्महे
incidental, a mere tool in your hands. This is the ninth
सत्यदेवाय
stage, Atma
धीमहि
Nivedan, surrender.
तन्नः
Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai says, first, I will
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
give you whatever you ask for. Later, I make you ask
ॐ
for what I have come to give you. Om
साईश्वराय
Shri Satya Sai
विद्महे
Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Shanti
सत्यदेवाय
Shanti Shanti.
धीमहि
End of chapter 18.
तन्नः
Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya
सर्वप्रचोदयात्
Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva
ॐ
Prachodayat.
साई